I won't sit still unless it's curved like this.
I was going to ask you that corn, but you won't.
Call to order the regular common council meeting, Monday, August 4th, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, August 1st. Agendas posted at BMO Harris Bank, the Post Office, Library, and City Hall.
Council acceptance of the agenda.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Personal appearances for non-agenda items. Anyone in the audience wish to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Minutes from July 21st.
I'll make a motion. Oops.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Finance Committee.
Okay, motion to approve a pay request number 9 from RT Fox Contractors for the Swift Rollin Storm Sewer Project in amount of $49,846.87.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a pay request number 3 for RT Fox Contractors for the Edward. Try it again. We'll get it there, right? Edward Avenue Project
I'll second
in the
that.
amount of $19,756.24.
Second.
Any discussion? Where is this road?
Here, here, and here.
And it's within the city limits, right?
Roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
That passes.
And a motion to approve bills and payroll listing amount of $224,464.47.
Second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
And that passes.
And a motion to deny an operator's license for Gina Kaiser.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
And that passes.
Motion to approve temporary Class B beer and wine license for the Knights of Columbus on August 9th.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
And that passes.
Motion to approve a public event package for the Edgerton Lions 20th Annual Horse Pull and Wave Park rental fees.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
That passes.
And a motion to approve a temporary Class B beer and wine, or a beer license for Edgerton Lions Club August 9th.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
That passes.
And a motion to approve a public event package for the Edgerton Area Chamber Fall Fest and waive fees.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
And that passes.
And a motion to approve Cedar Corp proposal for the WEDC grant preparation.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
And that's all.
Thank you. That passes. Anything from personnel?
Yes. Personnel Committee met Thursday, July 31st, and we had a review of management staff goals. So we had a mid-year review of the 2014 goals, and staff is doing very well with where they're at with their goals. We also had discussion around wage ranges for all management staff. So we had looked at a lot of information that was prepared as far as the wage ranges for each management, each department head, and where they fell within their position with like roles, with like communities compared to us, so comparables. And we asked Ramona to go back and give us an idea of what it would mean for us to take a look at increasing management staff wages to get them more in line with comparables, and give us ideas of what it would mean financially from, I believe we went with negative 5% to a plus 10%. So we could take a 7?
7.
Thank you, 7%. So we could take a look at what that would mean from a budgeting perspective, financials for next year's budget. And by doing this, we'll be able to look to get the department heads a little bit more in line with comparables. And that's it from personnel.
Thank you. Fire District. Ron, you're going to have to take over. I'm going to recuse myself from this and step out in the
I
audience.
plan to too.
Okay. Okay, basically, we'll make the motion to approve the revised amendment for the Edgerton Fire Protection Agreement.
I'll second that for discussion.
All righty. Basically, this is, if I remember rightly, and I didn't make that meeting, so this is because they put the wrong statute numbers in here. So we've already basically passed this, but now we got to make it right.
So just basically making correction.
Making a correction as to the
Okay.
statute numbers. And I understand we have some people in here that need to voice an opinion on what's going on, so anybody out there that needs to speak?
Start a little bit. Christopher Lund, 214 Terrace Court. I think we took this as an opportunity to get more discussion from some of the members of the fire department when this came back because of the clerical error in the first one. So we're here to speak on behalf of the members on the previous time when this did pass. So, and I felt real bad about signing it. I had to sign it because of the action of the council, so I signed it. But now we have an opportunity for some of the members to speak, and there are a couple here, and hopefully we have something enlightening for you.
So, question, one of you guys, what you have to do is state your name and your address, and then whatever you'd like to say. I'll go. How's that? Yeah. Or it might be one I...
Not used to having Mike sitting in the back, keep him quiet. Okay. All right.
My name is Mike Collins, 35 Mildred Avenue. I am the treasurer for the volunteer organization currently. I would wish that the council would either vote no on this or even just table it. And the reason is there's a push to put this on. We have over a year to correct this problem. Actually, less than a year now, but roughly a year. The problem that I have with this is they're taking money from our organization for our retirement program. They claim that they will reinstitute another retirement program, but we have no assurances and no promises to that effect. I I believe this resolution should be passed once there is another plan in place to make sure that everything that was still is.
Candy Davis, 434 Fairfield Circle, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Volunteer Fire District Association as president of that association. Just to put it in a little bit more layman's terms, if you will, in the past, or kind of level set, in the past for I don't know how many years, but we're talking about 2% money from this, that each municipality puts towards the fire department or the fire district. So the 2% monies from each municipality the fire department serves then pays the fire district. That has not changed. It's always been that. So the fire district would then, always in the past, would then take that money and give it to the volunteer association, turn it over to the volunteer association. And the volunteer association then funded the retirement program for all retiree firefighters. They met 25 years of service and they retired. They get a very small retirement. I don't know if it's $1,000 a year, or I think it just depends. $2,000. And so that money sits in a special fund slotted just for the retirement, to fund the retirement program. So this last year, it was decided that the individual that is accountable for checking the boxes as to where the 2% money is going, drew some attention to it and brought in the state fire inspection, or I forget what the title was, but to take a look and audit to make sure that the funds were being used appropriately. So that's where this all came about, was maybe there was a look at it wasn't being used to the appropriate place it should be used. So the auditor said, yes, that is the correct, you can use your 2% money to go to that and or 3 other places. And you'll see the 4 bullets in this amendment. So the 4th bullet was the one in which this 2% money was always put towards. The fire department now is asking that they have some sort of, I don't want to say control over where that 2% money goes. And if that happens, then that makes a difference with what happens with the retirement money. And so nobody is out of compliance other than the fire district then needs to put a line item in their budget, correct me if I'm wrong, to say we're going to transfer the money here. We'll budget that much to go towards the plan. So it's all schematic. I mean, it's gotten a little bit blown out of proportion. But the problem is the Volunteer Association is concerned that if the I's aren't dotted and the T's aren't crossed, the 2% money will not continue to go to fund the retiree pension. And personally, my concern is that the money, the 2% money, will go to offset loss in budget or shortage in their budget, because I don't believe the fire department is appropriately budgeting what they should and the amount that they should. And so they're kind of borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And that's my biggest concern, that their budgeting process get a little bit better aligned, and that they budget appropriately for wages and increase and equipment, and that this 2% money continue to be used as it has always in the past.
I got a question, Candy, if I can ask it. How much of that 2% money do they generally put aside for the retirement fund?
Mike, as the treasurer, I think you can answer that.
Last year, and this is going to be round numbers, last year I think we received $31,800
Okay,
from all municipalities.
right.
City of Edgerton and the town of Fulton are the two largest, and you got Albion, Sumner, and Porter. And last year, our expenses for retirement were $15,000. This year will be $15,000 because of Cal Wisman retired. Randy Lochner is eligible for retirement and has not retired, as the same as myself. And so I think it was 19 something that we actually put into the stock market, where there's some mutual funds, is where we keep it right now currently.
And the rest of the money
We pay out to the retirees.
oh, that's right, okay. It gets paid out to retirees, and what's not paid out can goes into the fund.
Do you know what percentage of the 2% money that is?
As far as, I don't understand.
As far as the money out of that 2% that's going into the retirement fund, do you know the percentage?
So it's
All
about,
of it?
It all goes in there,
Whether it's a payout to a retiree or...
or going into the fund? Okay, that's the question I need an answer.
Of that 31.8,
Okay.
13 was paid to our local retirees.
Oh, gotcha, okay, and then the rest went into the fund?
And then the balance, 19.
Okay.
went into-
Now I understand.
And we're looking at, the whole list and who's coming up for retirees, so we can kind of figure...
So it's not a
out
huge amount of money that they're, but what they want to do is not put anything in there and use it towards,
In the fire department's defense, they're looking at an alternative SAP program, so they're calling it a service award program. So, but the problem now is going to be what happens, we probably have to get some actuarials to say, in this fund of money right now, who's coming up towards retirement? Would this be a better plan than if the fire department or the fire district developed a new service award program? And there's pros and cons to both. There really are. But until that is settled and the district makes the appropriate agreement or motion to say what exactly is going to happen, the Volunteer Association is very reluctant to move forward with suggesting anybody vote positive on this. And there are 2 other municipalities that paid for that contributed the 2% money that are not in favor of this either.
but not in favor of this amendment, right?
Correct.
Correct.
So basically, by us approving this, we're leaving it open-ended to where then now the fire district can decide what to do with that money, and they may say, well, you're not going to get any of it, but yet there's nothing else in place for you to benefit from some sort of retirement program.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Part-
that's exactly right.
Part of the problem is that 2% money is for fire retirement only, which leaves the EMTs, which are not firemen, out in the cold. The only way to get around this would be to budget part of that 2% money to, say, into the truck fund, which is one of the bullets, and then appropriate that certain amount of money back into the retirement fund. At the present time, there's nothing there that legally binds anybody to do that. And this is what has brought about most of the concern about this particular amendment.
so, and then if we did vote it down, that actually gives us more time. You say we got a year, we can get more facts and get a better understanding of it.
10 more months, thereabouts.
The audit said we were out of compliance, it was out of compliance. Well, the municipalities are not out of compliance.
No.
Just to make that real clear. That the municipalities won't change what they're doing because it's going to the fire district. That's all appropriate. It's how the district then decides to turn it over and disperse it. And so we just want to make sure that that leg from here to here is agreed on appropriately and is written so all parties agree.
When you're speaking of the district, you're talking about the fire district board?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do they want fine tune this first and say, this is what we want, this is what we wish you would approve? Or do they want us to do this first?
At the board is split.
Some think we should have had it done 2 months ago.
What, so is the board, did they act on it last time, or, or are they still working? Is the fire district board, they're going to act on it a little later once more information comes in? Or?
So and correct me if I'm wrong, but those fire district board members that are in favor of moving forward said they will they'll take care of it, don't worry. And the fire district board members that are not in favor of it said, I don't believe that's going to happen. I think we need to have it up front first. So there is a bit of distrust, not just with I'm not saying the fire district board, but between the fire district board, the fire department, and the volunteer association. You see it as a three-legged stool, and the three legs really aren't coming together very well.
Different sizes.
So, I mean, is that an
That's pretty good analysis. You get school with three
Can I-
different lengths.
I bet, I've read the articles and stuff in the paper, and I don't know if this is something I really should even ask, but I'm gonna. Is it safe to say that they want to use the 2% money going forward to cover mismanagement of the money they're budgeted? Is that that's kind of what I'm understanding.
So we can only speak from our own personal, I'll speak from my personal as volunteer in the volunteer association. My concern is that, yes.
Because that's what that's kind of what I'm understanding from what I've read and what I've heard.
And I might feel better about it if I will be getting a copy of what the budget is, how it's budgeted, and from what I understand, and again, I don't have proof of this because I've not seen it, so I'm going to try to get copies, that the department has always been over budget, so they draw from other areas to make it, to even it out. And as I sit on finance and in city council, I know how much we hold the department heads to their budget.
As well we should.
A lot of work into the budgeting process, and they have to justify equipment and everything that they need. And I'm not so sure that's a real a good, well-run process with the fire department. So I think it needs to be looked at a little bit more. And I'm not saying the fire department doesn't need equipment or doesn't, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that I don't think there's enough rigor put around it to justifying it be too wishy-washy.
I think if there's 10 more months to figure this all out and maybe, get this nailed down better, I would like to personally learn more information before I approve anything, so therefore I vote no on this motion. So I'd like to see more information before anything's agreed upon.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have.
If we got time to get more information and better understand it, I think it's important that we do.
It'd be nice to know where the fire district board really is. They're hearing bits and pieces from the town representatives. I don't know. Usually, they make a motion and pass something, especially with something like this. There's a little bit of a, stuff out there in the community. It'd be nice if it came from them and say, here's what we like. Will you, help us and approve this or something? It seemed like it'd flow better versus us
I
stepping.
think we need to look at our
It's
spokesperson for that.
it's split.
Oh, yeah.
But the motion was to support this and been asked for support from the member municipalities. Then has the district board voted on this amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, so they voted in, even it's split though, they supported
Yeah.
it, therefore that's why it's out to all the
Why is it out
municipalities.
here now?
Tanya Getchell, 886 Harbor Road in Fulton Township, and I am on the board of directors of the Edgerton Fire Department.
The one leg of it. Up on there.
Edgerton Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. And this kind of all started back when there were word of buying an airboat and using the retirement monies to purchase the airboat. And I was concerned enough with that not knowing, was it legal? Can they use that money for that? I had a lot of questions, and so I called an emergency board meeting of our organization, and I said, go, stop, we need to figure this out, and we can't just make a decision in 5 minutes. We have to look into this more. Nobody's against purchasing an airboat. It's just where the funds are going to come from. And so that's what kind of started all of this. And so you've got, you know, the management of the fire department talking to some of the board members, and I don't believe all the board members, and I think there's just a lot of misinformation floating around in all different areas. And I don't know whether it would be possible to bring all of the municipalities together with the fire district board, all at the same time in the same room, so everybody's hearing the same information, and discuss it and say, because technically what has been happening isn't wrong. The 2% fire suppression dues come from your fire insurance premiums, and they all go toward to the state, and the state divvies them out to each one of the municipalities. The municipalities in turn that over to the fire district. The fire district then turns around and writes a volunteer organization a check for the same amount of money as the municipalities received and gave them. So it wasn't a direct that the municipalities were giving the volunteer organization the money, because they weren't. They were giving it to the district, who in turn that money over to us. We were still using it towards one of the approved things that it could be used for. We have money in that account. We don't know that that account is self-sufficient at this point. Our quick figures, we don't think it's quite self-sufficient. We've had a amount in our head as to what it would be self-sufficient. We've got young people that have retired that can collect that money for up to 40 years, 45 years. So if no more money flows into that account, it's not going to be self-sufficient. So, and you're right, with the EMS, they're left out in the cold, because the 2% money is only for firefighters. But what could happen is, it's all like Candy said, it's just in the budgeting. It's how, they get the 2% money, they use it for one of their core things, and maybe their agreement just says, we will give that organization a like amount to be used for the retirement or a length of service awards program, or, but it's not a legal retirement.
Correct.
It's a length of service
It's a
program.
And Tanya, I think you nailed it, Tanya. That's kind of when all this did come to a head, was over the money to purchase the airboat. And again, through the budgeting process, there is never any money put aside or a thought process of where should the money come from. The department, or they wanted, it was said, we'll take it out of the retiree account because money will continue to go in there. So that's where some of the concern is, that if it's not in writing where the 2% money is going to go to, we won't have enough money to keep it self-sufficient. And I say this because I'm on the EMS side, not the fire department side, so I'm not even thinking of it from a personal perspective. I don't even care about whether I have a retirement fund after this or not, because I have that from my job. I mean, I'm not doing it for myself. It's the principle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the same boat as Candy. I'm just on the EMS side as well. But there are ways that we could include EMS in it. I mean, there's 20 different ways we could do this. But it just seems to be trying to be rushed through with without any real thought behind it and input from everybody, and getting everybody at the same table, hearing the same thing, you know, brainstorming different ideas and how things could be done.
And all for the good of
Everybody, and for the good of the community, and for the good of all the firefighters, all the EMS, you know, it just, and for the budget, you know, of the fire department. You know, if there could be some better ways that they could be doing their budgeting, you know, maybe they could hear some ideas on how other municipalities do that. You know, if somebody doesn't know that they don't know something, you know, you don't know it. So I just think there could be a lot of benefit from having everybody at the same table and trying to come up with a better solution than just trying to push this resolution through without a lot of thought put behind it, because we do have time. There's no, and we still never did hear what the result of the audit was. Sue Barron from the state did do an audit, and we haven't heard, I don't know if the board has heard, whether or not what the results of that audit was. So we don't even know whether Sue Barron said that anything was done inappropriately or not.
Nothing was done inappropriately. The big thing, that's where this amendment came from. That's what Sue said we had to have.
Okay.
And in context with the airboat,
That was prior to
straight,
the
yeah.
audit.
But that's part of what brought it on, was brought the, but much ado about nothing, particularly because the airboat can't be purchased with those funds.
Exactly.
Correct.
Which was found out
Because,
later.
because it's not a firefighting device. It's not,
Okay.
so,
So it was a good thing that they didn't just go out and buy the airboat, or then that really would have been a problem, right?
talk about budget problems.
Yeah, so, I would just like to see some more time and thought behind this instead of just being ran through and having it signed. And I do know that Albion and Sumner have both stated that they will not sign this. They do want more guarantees and more information before they do
Okay.
anything on it.
All right.
And I think it would be nice to see a plan, retirement plan with whatever we need to cover EMTs in place before we give this an okay.
I truly believe our plan as is would cover the EMTs. It was always in
Yeah,
our
I think
intention.
the one that you have in place now that was handled by the volunteers covered everybody. There was no,
But there's that, the wordage, like you're dealing
Yeah.
with this resolution,
Yeah.
it's all in the wording.
it's all in the wordage.
Because we technically didn't get the money. It's not 2% money that we got. It's an equal amount to the 2% money that we got.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the district took the money, the 2% money, and then turned around and wrote us a check. So I mean, it's kind of funneling it through that way, but.
I think it's, you look on the state and national side where all these funds are being deleted 10, 20 years down the line because, people have been using these funds, the lockbox thing, Social Security. It's nice to have something, down street, hometown level, where this stuff is straightened out from the beginning. So we don't run into problems that the federal does. Like, it's going broke in 10 years. You mentioned there's people, probably younger kids could be retiring, younger people retiring pretty soon. We could collect for a long time. That money needs to be in there. Now, you want to go back 10 years later and go, oh, God, what do we do with that money? We use it for other things, stuff like that. Yeah, right. Big time.
They're off in the middle of the night, and this morning is a very good example.
And they do a wonderful job. I mean, we have one of the best fire departments in the area.
Yeah, what do you bet?
If not the best. Our department is,
So that's why I think it's crucial to have this money in there earmarked for things like that versus, well, back in 2014, we used it for this, and this. In 2024, oh my God, we're short or whatever, Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get ourselves in that position, I wouldn't think.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
No.
Can I have a motion, Cindy?
Motion is to approve the revised amendment to the fire protection agreement.
Okay, can you roll call? No.
Chris Walnuts?
No.
McIntyre?
No.
Davis?
Abstain.
Thomas?
No.
Mark Walnuts?
No. Thank you.
We'll take this back.
Ron for covering.
We'll take this back under consideration when they get a plan.
The next item, if we're completed with that one now, is to reconsideration of a motion approving the I-9039 bridge medallion design.
I'll make the motion that we reconsider the bridge medallion design.
I'll second. Now, in order to do that, were you one, I know there was something special Ron did. Okay,
Dave's the only one that couldn't make the motion.
Chris
got
can be
it.
there.
Chris couldn't.
Okay.
Chris wasn't here.
Okay, there's a little bit of a staff report on page 9.
So this motion has to pass first.
Oh, yeah. Any other,
Before we go to the next agenda item.
yeah.
get back into it, Mayor.
They're all in the audience.
Yeah.
Any discussion on the motion, other than what we've had so far? Roll call.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
And that motion passes. So now we can discuss and consider the bridge medallion. We've got somewhat of a time frame on this that we have to.
Yeah, we
so then-
need to move.
We do have time on the design. We just have to make up our mind that we do want a medallion. Am I correct or am I wrong?
I don't think we have much time, Dave. I think we need to
We
get an
need to
answer
move
to
right
them.
along?
We certainly need to let them know whether or not we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But in order for everyone else to approve it, they have to know what the design is, or they won't approve it.
But
and
they
then
won't approve it? Okay.
So we have to get to the
Okay.
the design.
Everybody wants to be a citizen tonight.
I'm not the reporter, no. Okay.
Go ahead.
So Rachel Woodrock, Railway down Main Street. I guess my perspective on this is I've heard talk about a tobacco leaf versus a sailboat design. And in my mind, I guess the decision that you should make is what do you want to communicate to people who are going to see it? If you want to communicate your heritage and that tradition, then I think that the tobacco symbol would be appropriate. If you want to communicate, hey, to see what our community has to offer, communicate tourism, we want to be known for, all the lakes in our area and come here to check this out, then I think the sailboat design is good. I think what you really need to decide is what you want people who are going to see it, what do you want to tell them? That's what I think the question should be tonight.
Vicki.
Vicki Moore, 614 Hemp Hill. I'm going to just kind of branch off of Rachel's idea. And I'll say I'm an Edgerton farm kid. I grew up here. I had a 4.5-acre tobacco base on our farm growing up. I love our heritage, and I'm all about our agricultural heritage. However, if we put a tobacco plant or leaf on the medallion, I believe that 99% of the people driving under those bridges won't know what the heck it is outside of this immediate area. So the people from the Chicago, area and all that come to this area for tourism and whatnot, they're not going to know what a tobacco plant is. So that's my one thing about the heritage. I get that, but I also want to promote our town. I feel, we need to market Edgerton, or if I can use a bad pun, we're going to dry up on the tobacco half, so we don't keep getting people here. And by depicting what our area has to offer, like a sailboat depicts water recreation, and that might maybe get somebody off the highway to stop here. If they don't know what that is on the medallion, they're not going to have any reason to maybe even think about stopping here. So I'd kind of like you to consider looking at it as maybe a 2-second mini ad for our area, or for our, for Edgerton. What, in that 2 seconds, because that's how fast it's going to go, going down the highway, might get people to come off the highway and stop here. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
I would like to, actually, when I wasn't here at the first meeting, and when I seen the medallion in the paper and read the article, I was a little bit perplexed myself on why it wouldn't have something to do with tobacco. But after talking to some people and really hearing that perspective, it really did make me change my mind. Because at first I thought for sure, when we even talked about medallion, that it would have something to do with that. But after listening to enough people, it makes sense to do something to pull people in here. And to your point, anybody farther than a 15, 30-mile radius of Edgerton is going to have no idea what it's about. And I'll be honest, I never even thought of it that way until it was brought to my attention. And with further thought, I agree with what you say. Whether or not the one we have picked out we use, doesn't matter to me, but I do understand the perspective of not having tobacco on there now.
When this was first discussed, right from day one, I understood the whole idea of having a boat on there, because I know I drive down the interstate every day, and every day I'm passing somebody pulling a boat behind their vehicle. If somebody's coming up from Chicago or coming down from up north, and they got a boat behind their truck, if they see a boat on a bridge, they think, well, maybe this is a good fishing spot, and pull off. So I kind of agree that we should go with something that's going to promote the area tourism-wise, or to help pull off that interstate. So I think, again, seeing a tobacco plant on it, most people ain't going to know what that is, and it ain't going to be of any benefit. So
The bridges that this medallion would be on, what other towns?
Albion Township.
What other towns?
Yeah, so Albion's not tobacco.
Yeah.
Sort of, but I mean, Edgerton is not, if you talk about heritage, right?
Both bridges are outside of the city of Edgerton.
Yeah.
So the town of Fulton would have to approve whatever artwork is selected for
Yeah.
the 59 bridge. Albion would have to agree to and the DOT has to agree to it also.
Sure.
Tanya,
No.
I think we got it.
We got your number.
You're on camera.
Is there any way that tobacco leaf could be incorporated into that medallion in a smaller way while still incorporating that boat? Or, a sailboat, you're talking boating, fishing, water recreation, I'm fishing, I don't see a lot of sailboats out there, but there's a lot of water sports. Or Rascal, or Sterling North, or, I don't know what's all been discussed, so I'm just kind of throwing that.
And I actually thought the Rascal thing too, but that's a real similar idea to the tobacco. Not too many people are going to know what it means.
Yep.
Well, when you come over the state line, you see industry, tourism, and agriculture. So we got the tourism with all this stuff, and industry, it's all is on people's minds. The only thing, the modification, if we ever want that, would be something about what agriculture in there, but, I don't know how it would work in there. Not specifically define it as tobacco, but like of a field or something, I mean, I don't know how it would fit in there, but that's agriculture, you're coming into Heartland, Wisconsin, blah, 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 something like that. But if you whatever it is, if you want to put another thing on there, will the people that are spending these mega dollars, come because they see a tractor or something like that, But when you come in Wisconsin, where all the money's flowing in, which we know, about tourism, what effect it has, oh my God, I just over the tobacco days, scout people, oh my God, you guys got a big lake up here? That's what they're all about, it seems like it. Well, that last 57 years I've been here, or whatever, 50 years I can remember, 53, but something with a field or something, but would that enhance it, that make it better, it would mimic the sign coming into, over the border, agricultural industry and, tourism, But I mean, Tobacco is Edgerton, Fulton, Albion, Stevensville, Porter Township. So I've been all over. I worked in practically every township and farm over the last 50 years myself. Since a little kid, 1965, first time I started planting tobacco on Tobacco Road off 73. But, it's generating a little bit of, comments, which is good, but.
I myself am personally leaning towards a golfer. You do not have to put the name Steve on there.
Well, no lettering allowed.
No.
Well, I go back to what Vicki said. You basically get two seconds to see that.
Right.
It's got to be something easily recognizable.
The other day, I'm headed south out of Janesville, and I specifically looked at the bridge on 11 down there. They have a medallion up there. I can't tell you what's on it. And I was looking for it. So if you're not looking for it, I know there's others as you go to Madison, and I've been up through there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you which bridge had them on and don't have them on. So you've only got, for those people who actually see it, and
That's right, it's
like I
important.
said, you need something that's easily recognizable.
Gotta be simple.
It's got to be very simple.
Yeah.
And I agree the heritage is important, but man, that looks like a big marijuana leaf, half a.
I agree.
Someone commented over the weekend, the 5, but
That could draw a lot of people.
People don't know, right.
Already does, Ron.
The voice of knowledge over there. But still, it needs to be something up there that is easily identified.
this is for people that really don't know the area, and we know that it's tobacco or golf
But,
and stuff
you know,
like that.
and
It's the
the-
people
the-
that don't, they're going to see that, hey, this is cool.
No. 99% of the people driving under these bridges will not know what a tobacco plant is.
Plus that, like I said, they're already under it. They're already past the exit. Especially the new exits are going to be way down the hill before you can even see that medallion or anything else. So then you have to count on them. Well, let's go back and see so they get off at the next exit. Hopefully. And turn around and come back. That one isn't going to do any good right then and there. It's just going to might plant something in somebody's mind for later on or whatever. It may get them to turn around and come back and visit. But most people going up there at 70 miles an hour, it's not even going to get them to blink.
And the thing is, like, I don't know if they turn around or not to say, what was that? It's like, it's the case with Milton over there, when they put the bypass around it, they don't want to take that other 10 seconds to go down 59 East and come back in on High Street. It's, that debacle, I think, it happened over there, but my personal opinion. And so would people come around and, what was that third thing? Some people say, we're in a hurry, we got to go see Grandma, or whatever the case is. Would they turn around? I don't know. To see.
What does Albion and Fulton say?
They vote tomorrow.
So I have a question regarding that, if you're through, Tom. Right.
It's on their agendas for tomorrow.
And my question is what's on their agenda? Is it this actual picture, or can we agree on an image and then shows on different images regarding one specific topic? I mean, because some people that I think kind of, when this came up again, people didn't agree with this specific picture, not necessarily the idea behind it, just that this maybe wasn't as clear as it could be.
We have to pick the image very soon because the image is integral with the whole approval process. Because if they don't have the image to approve, the towns won't approve it.
Right. So I guess what I'm asking is if we make a decision tonight, can we decide on the actual topic that's going to go in the medallion and then
A vote and a
have
sign?
different images of that topic brought back to us?
So a vote and a
Is there
sign?
time for that? Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. There might be. I mean, we'd have to have something for them to approve to say this is what the fallback would be. If there's something better that comes along that you like, we might have a little bit of time to do that. But I don't know the answer to that.
Couldn't you just approve the medallion thing and then get together as 3 and come up with a design?
There isn't time for that.
Well, it seems to be a better idea to have unanimous choice instead of having people vote for one.
If they don't-
I think that's what people are complaining about was one picture, no other designs, what we're looking for.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm asking, if we got time to do that. Say if we decide on this, do we got time to get different images to pick from?
Of boat and sun.
Of that type of...
I don't know. We might, I don't know.
Was it planned to have this in color? I
Do you
can't
want?
remember.
I've got an example in
I
color.
don't believe they, do they do them?
Oh, they'll all be in color. That's, there's a,
I think if it were in color,
this is an
Okay.
example of what it might look
and I
like.
think
There's a
that's
million
more
different ideas,
defined.
but this is one that, the bridge is of browns hues, different brown hues, so
see, when you look at it, you can tell.
Yeah, once
In
it's
black and
colored.
white, you can't, but here you can. That does make a huge difference. I think you can tell what this is.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the I-9039 bridge medallion as what's shown in that colored image right there.
I second.
Okay, same thing that we did last time.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Wilnuts,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Thomas,
Reluctantly, yes.
Wilnuts,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
That motion passes. Move on to consider committee appointments. We've got a couple of vacancies. On the Housing Authority, I'd like to have Linda M. Chabucos acted on in the next council meeting, so I'll nominate her for that position. I don't know how long that one was open yet. I know it's filling somebody's spot that, somebody that resigned off of it. And then we have a opening on the Police Commission. I'd like to nominate Joe Zanter to be filling that one for the next council agenda. I know a couple of you have worked with Joe in the past.
Nice guy.
So he said he would do that. Okay, mayor, alderpersons, and staff reports. We got a primary election next Tuesday. A couple things going on here this month that were acted on earlier with the Lions Club and the Knights of Columbus and the Chamber Fall Fest, which is actually next month. And we also have a fire department festival on the 16th. And the kids up at the school have been working on the letters for the sign out here in City Hall, and that's one of the ones that's close to being done. Needs some polishing yet, but
What is
they've
it
got
going to be for?
Evansville.
EFT.
Good answer.
They've got them all cut out, and they're working on finishing them now. So. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Yeah, it was a sad thing that happened this morning, with Anchorin. Talk about tourism. I go down there practically every weekend. I play music out on the barge and stuff. It's quite the destination to go to. People come from all over: Chicago, Gary, Indiana, Logansport, Indiana, Ohio, and hopefully that'll get rebuilt and bring, yeah. And speaking of the fire department and stuff like that, kudos. I've known John for 20 years.
So also, I'd like to say that I hosted a family reunion this weekend, and it was out at Racetrack Park, and we have this family reunion only every 5 years, so it's quite large. There were about 100 people, and I have relatives from all over the United States, so we had people here from California, New Mexico, Texas, Illinois, Iowa, Pennsylvania, and they commented on what a very nice park the Racetrack Park was. They thought it was beautiful. A couple of people walked the whole way around. They took a walk, and several people commented on what a beautiful, well-kept community Edgerton was and how beautiful the flowers were. And one of my cousins that is from Comanche, Iowa, actually sat on their council for many years, and she specifically wanted to point that out. So I told them that I would bring that up at the council, and kudos, Tom, to you and your staff, because they commented on how well the park looked. They were very impressed with it and very impressed with the entire town, so kudos to all the department heads too for all of your work, so.
Okay, one other thing, we want to schedule a committee of the whole to look at capital projects for next year. Those dates that you have there?
Yeah, these are, I think, working to the city calendar. So this is capital projects financing discussion we began at budget process last year. So it looks like the August 19 or 21, I think that's a Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay. Or the following week, the 25th or 26th or 28th. Any of those dates look promising?
Okay, what did you say? Would you rattle those off again?
Sure. 19, 21, 25, 26, or 28.
25th won't be good for me.
26th will not be good for me.
Planning to.
Potentially, yes. 28. Oh. Right, good idea. Anyone else have any dates, any of those dates that don't work?
25th, did you say no, Chris?
Right.
25th is a no for me.
I don't have my calendar with me, so I can make anything work if I have to.
26th is a no.
19th work?
Planning, can we do planning and this at the same time?
All that EMS fire stuff, you know.
19th work on a Tuesday, or you got EMS?
Every other date works fine for me.
We got a tentative time?
It's your choice.
Okay.
19th is on a Tuesday? then?
Yep.
Anything should work for me if it's late enough.
What time would you prefer, Mark?
6:30, 6 at the very least.
Okay, 6:30? Okay, anyone want to make a proposal? Otherwise, we'll,
Get it done with the 19th.
19th, 6:30?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yep.
Sounds like 19th has got a support.
That works for me.
Pretty quiet over there, Dave. 19th?
I'm retired.
Yeah.
So
You
my
better not
calendar's
complain
full
about
as it yet.
Okay.
Tuesday the 19th at 6:30, unless something changes.
Tuesday the 19th?
Yes.
6:30.
Number 12.
Motion to go in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the listing of public funds, conducting of other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, discuss and consider Swift Haven financial incentive, and discuss and consider business park land purchase.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Webb?
Yes.
Mark Wilmots?
Yes.
Chris Wilmots?
Yes.
McIntyre?